So first, let me start out this morning by saying Happy Purim, Chag Sameach, Happy Holidays. Yet again, they tried to kill us, we survived, and we made danishes out of our enemy's hat. Every Jewish holiday. Well, we don't always make danishes out of the hats, but we always eat. So there's a story that I've told before that I'm going to tell again. So, small town, big warnings. It's going to start raining. There's going to be flooding. They send out the warning to everybody, pack up your stuff, get out of Dodge, plenty of time. And this man of faith was in his house, and he said, you know what? I trust God. And if I have faith in God, God's going to send a divine miracle and save me. So I'm not going anywhere. So the next door neighbors holler out and say, hey, bud, grab your stuff. We got room in the Jeep. Let's go. And he's like, nope. God's going to save me. So the water starts rising. Rains are coming. It's up to the porch. He's standing on the porch. Guy in a canoe comes by. Bud, grab your important stuff. Let's go. And he's like, nope. God's going to save me. Thanks. Waters are rising. The guy's up on his roof. And he's standing on his roof watching the waters rise, and suddenly there's a helicopter coming over, and they drop a rope ladder, and on a megaphone he hears, Sir, no time to get anything. Come on with us. Let's go. And the guy folds his arms and says, no, I'm not going with you. God's going to save me. So when this gentleman awoke at the pearly gates and was standing face to face with St. Peter, he said, I put all my faith in God. Why didn't God save me? Peter shook his head and said, man, we sent you a warning. We sent you a Jeep, a canoe. We even sent you a helicopter. What exactly were you waiting for? Stuff is going to happen to us. The world is going to throw stuff at us at every turn. And all of that stuff that the world throws at us is neutral, unbiased events that have no volition of their own to hurt or harm us. And yet, as humans, we tend to personalize it. We're being attacked by the weather. We're being attacked by the tailgating driver behind us. We're being attacked by the slow person using coupons in front of us in line at the store. For me, it's the ice. I am being personally attacked by ice on the ground. And so naturally, the instinctive response when we're being attacked is tighten up, pull in the reserves, head down, fist clenched, let the resistance begin. And the thing is, the more we resist, the worse it gets. One of my beloved seminary brothers, who I miss dreadfully, is living in a nightmare in his home of Venezuela. He posts on Facebook mostly in his native language, so I can't always figure out what exactly is going on. I have a good idea. And from what I can understand, from what he's sharing with me, this is a case where the resistance, which is a group of people who are fighting for truth, are trying to speak truth to corrupt leadership. And those in the corrupt leadership who are being shown their own unprincipled behaviors are wrestling with the fact that this is being thrown at them. And people are getting hurt and killed because of this extreme case of resistance, this unwillingness to move or change. I think the major reason why resistance is so loud and can hold so much power is because the alternative to resistance is usually referred to as surrender. And surrender sounds weak. Throwing up the white flag, giving in, taking it, surrender. And so we, and when I say we, I mean me, just to clarify, tend to associate resistance with strength. I'm resisting temptation. I'm resisting the cold that's going around. I'm resisting Girl Scout cookies. Not well, but I'm resisting them. And I'm resisting my emotions because my emotions make me seem powerless. If I can resist what's happening, maybe I can make it not happen. Whereas if I surrender to it, it seems in some way I'm okay with it. I'm complicit with it. And so if I'm not okay with it, how could I not want to resist it? And it's because the first reason why I should not want to resist it is because if I keep holding on, this happens. You've got to let go or be dragged. This is kind of life. And what's cool about this is, think about it. If you're playing tug of war with someone, and you've each got ends of the rope, and you're pulling and pulling and pulling, what happens when you release your end? Hi. It's done. There's no resistance, and they fall down. That's not the goal, but you know what I mean. Eckhart Tolle wrote, "To offer no resistance to life is to be in a state of grace, ease, and lightness. This state is then no longer dependent upon things being in a certain way, good or bad. It seems almost paradoxical, yet when your inner dependency on form is gone, the general conditions of your life, the outer forms, tend to improve greatly." You're going to hear more from Eckhart Tolle and about the tug of war thing in a couple of weeks when we talk about letting go. But we're not letting go yet, we're still resisting. So I'm going to play with semantics right now, and just go with me on this, because I think, I feel words have a lot of power. So if the word surrender is too charged for you, you can also think of surrender as yielding, or allowing. And let me do a very quick clarification and disclaimer. In situations of abuse, danger, oppression, I am not condoning the allowing of that. I am not saying that if your partner abuses you, you should allow it and take it. What I am saying for that kind of situation is this: divine love, distance, restraining order. There's nothing wrong with that. What I am saying is that surrendering to a dangerous environment is not the same as allowing the universe to do its thing. And I know it can get tricky, and I know that there are individual situations and what ifs, and my story's different, and I hear you. Just stay with me. Stay with me. An extreme example would be Viktor Frankl, who wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. He survived years in 5 different concentration camps, including Auschwitz. Survived and was able to write a book called Man's Search for Meaning, which is insanely positive. And he did it because of this semantic difference. He yielded to the appearance in front of him while remembering what the larger truth was. He did not resist what was happening to him, even though it was one of the most heinous experiences of our time. He yielded, and he survived. And yes, he is absolutely a unique and magnificent example. And him, like Jesus, like so many examples we've seen, we can learn from them without thinking, I'll never be as good as that. It's not about being as good as that. It's about going, wow, how did he do that? And learning from that. I've shared this quote before, and what I've noticed is the good stuff tends to come up again and overlap. But it's that idea that Dan Millman taught about standing in your truth. And if you're standing in your truth and you're on train tracks, and the train's coming towards you, shift your truth. Stay in your truth, shift 3 steps, yield, don't get hit by the train. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to stand there and say, I'm in my truth, and get hit by the train. Stand strong, don't get hit, yield. Yielding, to me, allows what is happening to happen without my judging it. One more time. Yielding is allowing what's happening to happen completely without my judgment. A classic example of yielding to the appearance in front of us is, drum roll please, Mercury retrograde. Okay. For those of us sensitive to it, 3 or 4 times a year, there's this occurrence called Mercury retrograde, and it shakes everything up in a really not positive way. Communication of all kinds goes kaflooey. Technology starts acting like a 2-year-old. And for, like I said, for those of us sensitive to it, we immediately know something's up. Oh, it's Mercury. During this past retrograde, which was all of February, and let me just say now, let it never repeat itself ever again, I was chatting with a friend, and she asked how things were going. And I replied, everything sucks right now. Of course, I added the right now because I'm a minister, and I didn't want to say everything sucks. So I said everything sucks right now with this disclaimer that I knew that it wouldn't suck forever. That was my ministerial disclaimer. So she didn't fall for it either. It's okay. She looked at me and she said, tell me one thing that didn't suck today. So I named one thing, and she smiled and said, so, not everything sucks. In Viktor Frankl's book, he wrote about one night during a forced march when he looked up at the moon and he felt the love of his wife because he knew that where she was seeing the same moon. A lot of his life sucked. Not everything, though. And no one could touch that divine love that he shared with his wife. And it was his secret. And it kept them connected. So like with Mercury, not that Mercury retrograde is anything like Viktor Frankl's experience, but, just roll with me. This talk was really, really hard. So what's actually happening during that Mercury retrograde is it's not the issue. What's the issue is my attempt to resist what's happening during Mercury retrograde. And I find that the more I resist, the worse it gets, the more I dig my heels in and whine and complain and grit my teeth, the more I suffer. And so during this experience, praying or reaching out for divine assistance or whatever way you want to call that thing that we do, carries with it a unique responsibility of clarity. It's not really enough to say, please, dear God, make the sucking stop. Or even, if you want to make it affirmative, I affirm right now that all that sucks in my life stops sucking. It's not really going to fly. I have to acknowledge the fact that I don't like what's happening. And I don't want it to be happening. I just don't. I want it to stop or change or be different. The expression that I've heard from friends who are friends in recovery, the expression is, I want what I want when I want it, which is one of the most damaging things because you're like, that. And so I want what I want when I want it, and it's not what's happening now. So, question, how do I be with what is when I don't want what is and I don't want to be in it? There's a saying that pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. I'm causing my suffering because I'm not able to yield to the pain. This friend sent me something from the Daily Word, which I edited, so forgive me. But it said, bravery can mean acting boldly and fearlessly, but it can also mean trusting in the larger life even when I don't know where it might lead. Like the skydiver who surrenders bravely to a free fall, as I trust, I am assured my parachute will open. If I feel inner resistance, I am not discouraged. I meditate on the truth of love. Releasing my concern, I remember all the times I resisted a situation that later yielded good results. I audaciously surrender to the wisdom within me. I know there may be a free fall, a period of uncertainty, but as I let go and allow, I land safely in new territory. If resistance is loud, then yielding for me is very quiet. It's like the river in that song, River God, that I sing. Little stones are smooth only once the water passes through. Little stones are not smooth because they crash against each other. It's because they allow the water to do its thing. Another line in the song is, "The deepest part of you is where I want to stay and feel the sharpest edges wash away." It's the idea of submerging into spirit or whatever practice you use that heals and feeds you, and let the experience of surrender to the deep wear the sharpness away. And sometimes allowing and yielding looks like letting something larger than the mind that got us into this resistance guide us out of it. That monkey mind that keeps talking. And so whether we call that thing God or Spirit or all of the different names it has, the point is to relinquish our death grip of control on our resistance and begin to cooperate with higher wisdom. Cooperate with higher wisdom. Because higher wisdom is operating. We need to cooperate with it. The brilliant Annie Lamott, who uses the word he for God, asks and answers this great question. What's the difference between you and God? God never thinks he's you. And here's a really large truth. Who's to say that when things are just going the way we don't want them to, that they're not actually unfolding absolutely perfectly? Stay with me. What if this, right now, just as it is, everything that's happening, what if this is our highest good for this moment? What if we're supposed to be learning something from this moment, and instead we're resisting it because it doesn't feel good, because we don't like it, because it isn't what we want it to be, and on and on and on. We're missing the opportunity of learning because we're making so much noise going, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. Whereas this gift is coming, and we're missing it. There's a quote from Rumi that I love. And it says, "Do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you're used to is better than the one to come?" And what's really cool about this quote is this isn't the whole quote. There's two lines that come before this part. The first two lines are, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you." Let life live through you. I'm not going to dwell on this next part because there's already too much going on. But I did want to say that I have a movie reference. If you're looking for a fine movie to look at resistance and also have a nice evening at home, watch Hook. Because that moment when the kids are trying to get him to play and they hit him in the head with the ball and they go, "Play!" and it bounces off his forehead is fabulous. It's brilliant. Classic resistance. My word for 2014, we talked at the beginning of the year about get one word, about choosing your word for the year. So my word was awaken. It still is. My word is awaken. So the tricky part about my choosing that word was I wasn't really specific with that word choice about how I wanted to be awakened. And so I've been awakened in ways that I really didn't expect or want. And I've been resisting them a lot. And then I found this story very short story from Herbie Hancock, jazz musician. And he was playing a gig with Miles Davis. He said, "We had the audience in the palm of our hands. And right as everything was really peaking and Miles was soloing, I played a chord and it was completely wrong. And Miles took a breath and then played some notes, and the notes made my chord right. Somehow what he chose to play fit my chord to the structure of the music. What I learned is that Miles didn't hear the chord as being wrong. He just heard it as something new that happened. So he didn't judge it. I learned the importance of being non-judgmental, taking what happens and trying to make it work. And it can lead you to other ideas, to something maybe you hadn't expressed before. There was a line in our sacred reading this morning that said, imagine that the universe is conspiring not to hurt you, but to free you. Listen for the intuition. Trust what you know. And watch for the helicopters. And when you start to feel, when we, I, you, me, all, start to feel the tug of war resistance game starting, reflect on this meditation. Ask yourself, where am I? Answer, here. Ask yourself, what time is it? Answer, now. Say it until you can hear it. We're going to go into prayer. Taking a deep breath. Remembering the last time we took a deep breath. And allowing ourselves in this moment to check any places in our body where we're holding. The jaw tightened, the back stiff, the neck stiff, toes curled. Check any place in your body right now where you might be holding resistance to just being here, to just being in this now moment. Checking our minds right now for any resistance to just being here and now. So much to do in our lives, so much busyness. And yet right now, all we need to do is be right here. Holding in prayer all those who reached out this week. All those going through big changes. Holding in prayer my brother in Venezuela, keeping him safe in my heart. Holding in prayer the people of Crimea, Ukraine. Holding in prayer all the people that are on that plane that we can't seem to find. And holding in prayer their families. So much happening in this world that is calling for our attention, and it's calling for our release of resistance to the good, to the peace, to the life that is possible. So right now I affirm and declare for myself and for all those who are experiencing resistance, a breath, a yielding, a forgiveness for what's kept us digging our heels in for so long. A shifting to allow us to be seeing things new, experiencing things new, opening up to possibilities we never ever thought possible. And here they are, as soon as we let go of the rope. Taking care of just what's in front of us each moment, each day. And allowing whatever inner wisdom or whatever name we have for it to guide us and to listen to that guidance. To not wait for the helicopters. To hear it earlier than that. And to let ourselves off the hook when we wait until the helicopter. The universe is conspiring for our good all the time, regardless of what we see. So let's see better. Let's see clearer, gentler, to ourselves and to everyone. Holding all of this in the highest watch. Simply let this go, knowing that it is done and it is good. Amen. Ashe.